You need to learn this 10 absolutely amazing Excel tricks for 2026. These are so uncommon, even I was not using them a week before. And these tricks are going to blow your mind. But here's the thing, if you know these tricks already, go to the comment section and say, I already know. But if you learn even one trick from this video, go to the comment section and say, I learned. And now let's start the video.
Now, if you look at here, I have these dates here in my worksheet, and all of these dates are not in the correct format. I can correct these dates using a complex formula, but that is something I'm not going to do. I'm going to use Python now to clean these dates in a few seconds. So what I'll do, I'll start with equals py, and then I'm going to press tab. And now I can run a Python function here. I can use a Python function here. So I'll say pd dot to and underscore date time, starting parenthesis, the cell where I have the date, closing parenthesis, and then control and enter to enter the function. And now I have my date that is the correct date. So I'll just test it. I'll try to add 1 into this date. I'll just test it and try to add 1 into this date. And it gives me 7th of January 2026. That means the date that I have got here from the Python function is correct. So now I'm going to drag this up to the last cell, and I have all the dates in the right format that I can use further. And here I have these two charts, and the first chart have a set of formattings that I have applied, and the same formatting I want to have in this chart. But instead of going to each option and apply formatting like the color, the border, and the shadow, what I'll do, I'll simply get the formatting from this chart and apply it to this chart. So first of all, I'll select the first chart where I have the formatting, and then I'm going to say right click and copy. Now I need to select the second chart and then go to my home tab and then click on this paste drop down, and from there I need to go to the paste special. It gives me this dialog box where I have three options, all, formats, and formulas. So I need formats, so I'll say formats and click OK, and now I have exact same formatting to the second chart as well. Now this trick will completely blow your mind. I have this list of months here, and I want to have total 12 worksheets in my workbook with these names. So instead of going and inserting each worksheet and then naming it one by one, I'm going to do a trick here. So I have these 12 names, and then I have this heading for the column that says name. You can also use any heading, let's say month. And then I'm going to select this column and go to insert tab, click on pivot table, and click on from table or range. Yes, I'm going to insert a pivot table. So I'll click on it, and instead of going to new worksheet, I'm going to say existing worksheet, click on any cell here and click OK. Now I have a blank pivot table here, and I have only one column here. So I'm going to take it from here and drop it in the filters. Now what I will do, I'll select the cell from the pivot table where I don't have actually pivot table, but just a filter. So I'm going to say options and then click on show report filter pages. And I'm going to say yes, month is the column, and click OK. And instantly I have total 12 worksheets in my workbook with the name for each of the months. But that's not the end here. I need to select the first worksheet here, and then I'm going to press and hold the shift key and go all the way to the last worksheet. So now from January to December, all the worksheets are selected, and I'm going to say Control A and then press the keyboard shortcut Control HE A, and it will remove all the pivot tables from all the worksheets. And now I have 12 blank worksheets here with the name of each month from January to December. There is one big problem with XLOOKUP. When I use XLOOKUP and use this customer name for my lookup value and then select the customer column as the lookup array and then invoice column as the return array, hit enter, I get the invoice number, but I can only get either first or the last invoice number. And if you look at my data, I have total 5 invoices for this particular customer. And if I want all the invoice numbers, I cannot do this with XLOOKUP. For this, what I can do, I can use the filter function, and in the filter function, I can specify this array that is the invoice column from where I want the invoice numbers. I'll come back and include, I'm going to select the customer column, and here my condition is this customer's name, and then I'm going to say no data found if there is no invoice number. And let me just add the double quotation marks here as well. And when I hit enter, I get all the invoice numbers for this particular customer. And even if I change it, let's say if I go to this customer, John Miller, I get all the invoice numbers for John Miller as well. If you look at here, I have this data here where I have name and score for all the students. But the problem is I have both the data points in a single column. Now I want to structure this data, and for this, I'm going to use a simple function here. So I'm going to enter this function called wrap rows and select the range where I have the data. And then for the wrap count, I'm going to say 2. That means I need 2 values in a single row. And when I close this function and hit enter, I get this name column here and score here. It takes the first value and put it into the first cell in the first row, and then take the second value and put it into the second cell in the first row. And I have mentioned that I want 2 as a wrap count. So after 2 values, it wraps to the next row, take again the third value, put it here, and then take the fourth value and put it here. And this way I get names and score in 2 different columns. Let's say you have a workbook on your desktop and you want to build a pivot table using data from this workbook into a different workbook, but without getting that data, without copy and pasting that data into the current workbook. Now in that case, we have a specific option. When you go to pivot table drop down, it gives you this option from external data source, and when you click on it, it asks you choose connection, and from here you need to click on browse for more, and then simply select the file that you want to use. Let's say if I want to go with this file, West Sales 2025, I click on it. It gives me this list of all the worksheets that I have here. In my case, I have this particular table. Then it gives you this list of all the tables which are available in that particular workbook. So I'm going to select the table from here, click OK. And then instead of existing, I'm going to go with new worksheet, or I can also go with existing worksheet if I want to add it here. And then I'm going with the existing worksheet here, and I'm going to select the cell where I want to add the pivot table and click OK. And instantly I have this blank pivot table here and all the columns from that particular workbook, and I'm going to use these columns to build my pivot table. So I'll go by salesperson, units sold, and total amount, and my pivot table is ready, and the data I'm using is in different workbook. All right, so here this formula is going to help you in a big way. I have this column here where I have full names, and instead of having a space in between, I have different characters. Now the idea is to split these names into first name and last name, and I'm going to use this function, which is a smart function text split, and I'm going to specify my name here. But in the column delimiter, instead of specifying a single delimiter, what I'm going to do, I'm going to specify multiple delimiters. So I'll say all the delimiters enclosed in double quotation marks, and I have a comma in between, and all these delimiters enclosed in curly brackets. So I'm going to close my function here, hit enter, and let me just drag this function down, and I have all the names into 2 different columns, first name and last name. So all you need to do is you need to enclose your delimiters, multiple delimiters in this particular format. Now the trick that I'm going to show you is absolute beauty. Here I have these names here, 3 names here, here, and here. Now the idea is to get all these names in a single column. So instead of copy paste or even writing a complex formula, I'm going to use a simple formula. So I'll say to call, and instead of specifying all these names, 5 ranges in 5 different selections, I'm going to select this entire section from here. And now in the ignore argument, I'm going to say ignore blanks and errors. Close this function, hit enter, and I have all the names, literally all the names in a single column. So we have learned how to copy and paste chart formatting from one chart to another chart, but there is one more amazing solution to this formatting problem. So here I have this chart and I have the formatting here in this chart, and I want to have this formatting to all the column charts. So what I'll do, I'll select this chart and right click, and then I'm going to say save as template. And then I'm going to name my template custom column chart, or you can use any name you want. And then I'm going to say save. Now, next time, whenever I need to create a column chart, I'll select my data. I'll go to recommended charts in the insert tab, click on recommended chart. And then from the all charts, I have this option here that says templates. And here I have my saved template with all the formattings that I want. And when I click OK, I get the exact same chart every time. So if you have custom charts that you want to build, so if you have custom branding, so if you have custom formattings that you use all the time with your charts, let's say you have line chart, you have column chart, or even if you have area chart, you can build those charts once. You can build those charts once with all the formatting and then save the templates for those charts, and you don't need to add that formatting again and again because your templates are saved. So if you build charts all the times and apply formattings, you can save that formatting as a template and you can build those charts quickly next time. And here I have this data, product wise, month wise data, but I'm really frustrated because the columns for each of these months are not in the right order. Now, if I try to move every column one by one, it will take me a lot of time because I need to maintain the order. Now, the easiest way to sort these columns is simply select the part where we have month columns and then use the keyboard shortcut Alt DSS and it will open the sorting order here. So what I'll do next, I'll click on options and from here I'm going to say sort left to right, not top to bottom, because top to bottom is rows. But when I say sort left to right, that means I want to sort columns. So I'll say sort left to right, click OK. And here I'm going to say row 5. So this is the row 5, which is the heading row here. And I'm going to use the row 5. And when and after that, from the order drop down, I'm going to say custom list. And here I already have the sorting order of months from January to December. And I'm going to say OK and click OK. And here my columns are sorted from January to December. Hey, thanks for watching this video and make sure to subscribe and check out this video and I'll see you next week.